Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog .stampwithelaine.com. Today's project is this shaker card made with the Beauty Abounds stamp set. This is from the Spring Summer catalogue and it's one of the new cling stamps. If you bundled it together with the Butterfly Beauty Thinnet dies, that will save you 10%. There are 20 dies in the set, and these dies will cut sort of smaller multiple butterflies. And there are 20 dies in all. These are actually joined together, as you can see. And the larger one is for the bottom, and this one is for the top. So in fact, if you look at my card, that's the bottom bit, which is this thicker rim bit, and then you overlay that thinner one on top. During celebration, I use the foil papers to make these cards, and you can see how they stand out better on this. The card base is in Coastal Cabana. This has been cut at 5 7/8 inches by 8 1/4. In metric, that will be 14.85 centimeters by 21 centimeters. Because we're using the adhesive foam strips, quite a bit of height to that, so I've scored the card a little bit differently. If we grab the trimmer and you put the long side on top and you score it at 4 1/16 of an inch, which is this mark between the 1/8 inch and the 4 inch mark. So that would be 10.3 centimeters, I think. And then rotate it 180 degrees. And from the other side, align it at the 4 1/16 inch and score again. Grab bone folder and reinforce those two score lines. Inch by 5 7/8 inch Coastal Cabana piece. In metric, that will be 10.2 centimeters by 14.85 centimeters. 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock. The smaller one is to go on the back of your shaker card. This measures 3 1/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. In metric, that's 8.2 by 12.1 centimeters. Then you need a Whisper White card insert, which will be 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. In metric, that's 9.5 by 14 centimeters. You'll also need a piece of glimmer paper and some multi-purpose adhesive sheets. I've already stuck mine on. This is to die cut your butterflies with. You'll also need some scraps to die cut some butterflies for inside your shaker card. I had to improvise because I didn't have any sequins to put in it. But if you've got sequins, you can substitute butterflies for the sequins, or you can have a mixture of both. You need a window sheet that's been cut at 3 1/4 by 4 3/4 inches. That's 8.2 centimeters by 12.1 centimeters. The other stamp sets I'm using are the marbled stamp set and the Itty Bitty Birthday stamp set. The rectangle framelets, I'm using the 4th largest one. This one measures 2 9/16 of an inch by 3 15/16. The Everyday Label Punch, Coastal Cabana and Granny Apple Green inks, a sponge dauber, glitter enamel dots, 3/8 inch Coastal Cabana and Granny Apple Green reversible ribbon, big shot and magnetic platform. Now I'm going to take my cardstock, the one where I scored, this is my card base, and I'm going to use the 4th largest rectangle stitched framelit and center that on my cardstock and cut out an aperture. Now I don't want it to move, so I'm going to just put some washi tape on there so that it will remain in place, and I'll go and run that on the big shot. Now some people will say use your precision base plate because it's a fairly detailed die, but I found that if I reverse my plate, so I put the bottom cutting plate on top so that my die, the cutting edges face up. If you don't have a precision plate and you've only got the ordinary cutting plates, but you have a magnetic platform, this is how I would normally do it. I will reverse my plates so that the top plate I normally use will be down on the bottom, and the bottom cutting plate, which I usually cut with the cutting edge face down, will be on top. So therefore I want to reverse the procedure. So I put my die with the cutting edge face up, then I put my cardstock on top, and if you need an extra shim so that you don't have to glue all the pieces together and get your fingers all sticky, you can put a multi-purpose adhesive sheet on. Right, I thought I might as well demonstrate. So this is normally the multi-purpose adhesive sheets come in 6 by 12 inch sheets. So to be economical, my die is round about 4 inches. You need a piece of cardstock that's about 4 inches by 5 7/8. So if I just cut off 4 inches by 6 inches, that's the most economical way of doing it. So I'll do that and pop that on. Peel this back. Just a little reminder, remember when you're putting your dies on, don't do what I did, which is I put my cardstock the wrong way round and I ended up with the sticky bit on the top, whereas it should be on the bottom. Bring back my magnetic platform. I told you that we were going to reverse it, weren't we? Normally you would have the die like this on top of your cardstock, so therefore you're reversing the procedure. So you want the cutting edge up, and so long as you can't see the die, it means it's all covered. And then you put the bottom cutting plate on the top this time, and then run it through the big shot several times. This way it means the blade is closest to your cutting edge. And I would recommend that you keep the plates in situ and not lift it up or remove the plates. Just keep on going back and forth, and then you'll get a nice clean cut. So that's the bottom layer of the butterfly done. Now I want to do the glimmer paper one. So again, make sure you're putting your die on the top and not on this side where the adhesive sheet is. So the best thing is place it like that, put it upside down, and then run it through the big shot. Now the reason I do it that way round is because it's hard to get things to stick on top of glimmer paper. So sticking glimmer paper to cardstock is no problem, but the other way round it is. Those pieces are cut, ready for assembly. Next I want to stamp on the marbling effect, so I'm just going to randomly ink up my pad just on the edge. Careful not to get ink on the other bits. I've mixed it up with a mixture of Granny Apple Green and Coastal Cabana. So I'm not going to put it this way because I want it random. So I put it on at an angle and then rub my hand over it to pick up the ink. I've cut the aperture for my card front. Now don't discard that because that will come in useful in a minute. I'm going to run some tear and tape along the edges here. Pop the window sheet on, remove the backing tape, the adhesive strips on. Don't remove the adhesive backing strip yet. I've pre-die cut some of these butterflies from the dies, and you want to make sure that they're facing outwards. The right way is facing outwards. So in other words, you want it to be upside down. I was digging around in my cupboard and I found some sequins, but I think these are retired, so they're not current ones, but it's better than to have something than nothing at all. So I'm just popping a couple in, keeping the card absolutely flat. Take off your backing strip for the foam adhesive, and then you want to adhere the stamped bit here upside down. Actually, before I put it on, I think I might just paint a bit of Wink of Stella on this, and then just pop that on top. Okay, and then while it's still flat, now we can do our butterflies. So take it off the adhesive sheet. Now I've already spent time taking off all the bits that were stuck down. Carefully take that off. Try not to tear it. Take the glimmer one off as well, and lay that on top of this. Marry it up. Put adhesive on the back here. And that makes a nice neat finish. Just a little stamping for the inside of the card. I'm going to stamp off first. And then stamp the little butterfly. Adhesive on the back. I'm going to stamp It's Your Day, and I want to make the label a little bit smaller, so I'm going to punch it this way and then insert it from the other end and hold on it to it this end and punch again. Grab a sponge dauber and just highlight the edges. Run some tape on the back. Which way do I want it to go? This way. Pop some dimensionals on the back. Just a final touch, I'll pop one of these on here. Not sure whether to have the green. I think I'll have the green. Otherwise it won't show up. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe or share on Facebook, and my grateful thanks if you do. If you're watching from YouTube, you'll find the list of supplies I use below this video in the Show More section, with direct links to my online store. They'll also be listed on my blog at blog.stampwithelaine.com. You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Thank you so much for visiting today, and I'll be back soon. Bye!